Disaster management. What is disaster management? The United Nations defines a disaster as a serious disruption of the functioning of a community or a society. Disasters involve widespread human, material, economic, or environmental impacts which exceed the ability of the affected community or society to cope using its own resources. Types of disasters. First, natural disaster. What is natural disaster? A natural disaster is a major adverse event resulting from natural processes of the earth. Examples include floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, volcanic eruption, earthquakes, tsunamis, and other geologic processes. A natural disaster can cause loss of life or property damage and typically leaves some economic damage in its wake, the severity of which depends on the affected population's resilience or ability to recover and also on the infrastructure available. Types of natural disasters. First, landslide. A landslide is a disaster involving elements of the ground including rocks, trees, parts of houses, and anything else which may happen to be swept up. Landslides can be caused by an earthquake, volcanic eruption, or general instability in the surrounding land. Mudslides or mud flows are a special case of landslides in which heavy rainfall causes loose soil on steep terrains to collapse and slide downwards. Second, earthquake. An earthquake is the result of a sudden release of energy in the earth's crust that creates seismic waves. Earthquakes are recorded with a seismometer, also known as seismograph. The magnitude of an earthquake is conventionally reported on the Richter scale, with magnitude 3 or lower earthquakes begin mostly impracticable and magnitude 7, causing serious damage over large areas. Intensity of shaking is measured on the modified Mercalli scale. At the Earth's surface, earthquakes manifest themselves by shaking and sometimes displacement of the ground. Third, tornado. Tornadoes are violent rotating columns of air which can blow at speeds between 50 and 300 mph and possibly higher. Tornadoes can occur once at a time or can occur in large tornado outbreaks along squall lines or in other large areas of thunderstorm development. Water spots are tornadoes occurring over water in light rain condition. Fourth, volcanic eruption. A volcanic eruption is the point in which a volcano is active and releases lava and poisonous gases into the air. They range from daily small eruptions to extremely infrequent supervolcano eruptions, where the volcano expels at least 1,000 cubic kilometers of material. Some eruptions from procalastic flows, which are higher temperature clouds of ash and steam that can travel down mountainsides at speeds exceeding that of an airliner. Fifth, tsunami. A tsunami is a series of waves created when a body of water, such as an ocean, is rapidly displaced. Earthquakes, mass movements above or below water, volcanic eruption, and other underwater explosion, landslides, large meteorite impacts, comet impacts, and testing with nuclear weapon at sea all have the potential to generate a tsunami. A tsunami is not the same thing as a tidal wave, which will generally have a far less damaging effect than a tsunami. Sixth, flood. A flood is an overflow of an expanse of water that submerges lands, a deluge. It is usually due to volume of water within a body of water, such as river or lake, exceeding the total capacity of the body, and as a result, some of the water flows or sites outside of the normal perimeter of the body. It can also occur in rivers, when the strength of the river is so high it flows right out of the river channel, usually at corners or meanders. 7th, wildfire. Wildfires or forest fires are uncontrolled fires burning in wildland areas. Common causes include lightning, human carelessness, arson, volcanic eruption, and procallistic clouds from an active volcano. They can be a threat to those in rural areas and also to wildfire. Wildfires can also produce ember attacks, where floating embers set fire to buildings at a distance from the fire itself. 8. Drought. A drought is an extended period of months or years when a region suffers a severe deficiency in its water supply. Generally, this occurs when a region receives constantly below average rainfall. It can have a sustainable impact on the ecosystem and agriculture of the affected region. Although droughts can persist for several years, even a short intense drought can cause significant damage and harm local economy. Avalanche. An avalanche is a geophysically hazard involving a slide of a large snow or rock mass down a mountainside caused when a buildup of material is released down a slope. It is one of the major dangers faced in the mountains in winter. As avalanches move down the slope, they may entertain snow from the snowpack and grow in size. The snow may also mix with the air and form a powder cloud. An avalanche with a powder cloud is also known as powder snow avalanche. The powder cloud is a turbulent suspension of snow particles that flows as a gravity current. Hurricane. Hurricanes, tropical cyclones, and typhoons are different names of the same phenomena. A cyclonic storm system that forms over the oceans. It can cause by evaporated water that comes off the ocean and becomes a storm. The Coriolis effect causes the storm to spin and a hurricane is declared with the spinning mass of storms attain a wind speed greater than 74 mph. Hurricane is used for this phenomena in the Atlantic and Eastern Pacific Oceans, tropic cyclone in the Indian and typhoon in the Western Pacific. Man-made disasters. What is man-made disaster? Man-made disasters are usually the result of things going wrong in our complex technology society. They include hazardous material spills, air pollution, house fires, radiation leaks, food or water contamination, and industrial chemical releases. In the best case, they simply rob us over modern luxuries for a brief time. In the worst case, they impact the entire ecosystem in which we live. A profound example of a man-made calamity is the 1986 Chernobyl nuclear power plant accident that, according to the WHO, exposed 6 million people to dangerous levels of radiation and left a portion of our planet nearly uninhabitable. Types of man-made disasters. First, nuclear accidents. It is a type of explosion deriving its force from a nuclear reaction of fusion and fusion. It is of two types, fission and fusion. Examples of fission are atomic bombs, A bombs, fission bombs. Examples of fusion bombs are hydrogen bombs, H bombs, fusion bombs, etc. Precautions. Common indicators of these disasters are vomiting, nausea, and dizziness. Don't look at fires as it causes instant blindness. Close all doors and windows as radioactivity doesn't penetrate into solid structures. Cover all food and water and listen government orders. Second, biological disaster. These are referred as poor man's nuclear bomb as these are easy to manufacture, transport, and have the ability to kill hundreds and thousands of people. They are delivered using dusting airplanes or small perfumes atomizer. They have ability to generate immediate effects. Precautions. The WHO should lay emphasis on the prohibition against biological. We should immediately get away from a suspicious thing. Cover your mouth with a wet cloth. Listen to TV and radio for further government instructions. Third, chemical disaster. Disasters that are caused by the excessive use of and misuse of chemicals in industries are called chemical disaster. The irresponsible handling of powerful chemicals can cause widespread devastation. Precautions. Industries using harmful and powerful chemicals should be located far away from residential areas. There should be surveys to keep a checkup on their activity. The government should be formulate an emergency plan to in case of an accident. Pollution level should be checked and maintained. Fourth, fire accidents. Accidents that are caused due to fire are quite common. Fire results in the heavy damage both in terms of life and property. Loss of life is high in a crowded building. Precautions. The main resources is poor running and faulty electrical equipment, leaking gases or carelessly thrown cigarettes and matches. The main power supply should source is good. Wires should be properly covered. Inflammable things should be kept out of reach of children. Power points should be overloaded. Travel accidents. Travel accidents are quite common. An accident which involves a number of people becomes a disaster. Example of these disasters are air crashes, train or vehicle collisions, collapsing of boats, etc. Precautions. All efforts should be made to carry victim to nearby hospital. If possible, first aid can be given to victims. It is the duty of people present there to get trapped people out. If we smell fuel at accident site, warn people and don't. Terrorism. This is another type of disaster that results in loss of life and property. Terrorists use violence and strike without warning. They use bombs, guns, and etc. to terrorize people. Precautions. We must inform police if we come across any suspected group of people. We must stay away from any suspicious thing and inform police about that. Do not accept packages from strangers. Do not leave luggage unattended while traveling. Seventh, epidemic. Epidemic occurs when a disease attacks a large number of people at one time. It spreads at rapid rate among human population. Most of diseases are spread after natural disaster like tsunami, flood. Precautions. Ensure safe drinking water sanitation after a disaster. Health workers should be trained covering of all stored water containers. A surveillance should be established to detect outbreaks. Thank you for watching.